He was a warrior, a wanderer, and a living legend. Miyamoto Musashi, first a samurai, then a ronin, is widely hailed as the greatest swordsman Japan has ever known. But his fame wasn't built on flashy displays or tales spun over time. No, it was forged in the fires of relentless discipline. It's said that Musashi fought in over 60 duels and never lost a single one. His first battle, at just 13 years old, against a seasoned samurai. The result? Victory. Cold, calculated, and decisive. Musashi's life was a path paved in steel, his swordsmanship so precise, his focus so unwavering, that one by one, he defeated the most elite warriors of his time, until there was no one left to challenge him. But what made him truly remarkable was not just the sheer dominance of his blade, but the depth of his mind. He was more than a fighter. He was a philosopher, an artist, a seeker of truth and clarity, a man of the sword, but also of the scroll. In the final week of his life in 1645, Musashi penned down 21 principles, a guide to living with rigorous discipline and spiritual strength. He called it the Dokodo, the path of aloneness. It was a raw, uncompromising look at what it meant to live with purpose and honor. Today, in a world overflowing with distractions, temptations, and shortcuts, Musashi's wisdom is not just relevant, it's essential. Because when we embrace discipline, we were not just refining ourselves, we were protecting our freedom and giving shape to our greatest ambitions. So let us dive into the first of 4 teachings from Miyamoto Musashi that can help us build unshakable discipline in our own lives. Lesson 1. Resist the lure of comfort. Musashi wrote, "Do not seek pleasure for its own sake." A simple phrase, a powerful challenge. In the late 1500s, while others chased after safety, warmth, and luxury, Musashi roamed the wilderness. He spent nights alone in forests so dark and cold you'd swear they were torn from nightmares. No fire, no food, only the silence and his sword. He was on a mission to master his craft, to become the best. And he knew that pleasure was a price he couldn't afford. He didn't chase fine meals or lavish homes. He didn't care for silk robes or golden trinkets. His eyes were locked on the bigger goal, and he sacrificed the temporary to gain the eternal. Now imagine if Musashi chose comfort instead, sleeping in soft beds, indulging in feasts, waking up late, taking the easy road. Would we even remember his name? Today, comfort is around every corner. Pleasure is sold like candy, and we're always just one tap away from our next dopamine fix. The world begs us to indulge, but seldom tells us the cost. Here's the truth. Pleasure without purpose leads to emptiness. Meaning is what gives life its shape, and discipline is what protects that meaning. The modern world makes distraction effortless, but if we want to build something that lasts, if we want to look back with pride instead of regret, we must learn to say no to the easy and yes to the meaningful. Musashi wasn't superhuman. He just understood something most people ignore. Discipline is freedom, and that's where our journey begins. If we want to truly understand discipline, we must study those who conquered temptation and found meaning in its place, people like Miyamoto Musashi. To Musashi, indulging in pleasure wasn't just a distraction, it was theft stealing our most precious currency, time. And to him, time meant opportunity, the chance to do something that matters. He believed that no fleeting joy, no moment of comfort, could ever rival the profound satisfaction of achieving something truly significant. Just think about it. How would it feel to look back on a full year where you read every single day, even just 15 minutes without fail? Imagine standing in front of the mirror and seeing a strong, healthy body that you built with months of sweat and effort. Picture that moment when your business, your idea, finally takes off, when the customers start flowing in and you realize, I did this. Now compare that to the quick hit of scrolling through your phone for the 100th time today, or that extra hour of sleep that steals your morning, or the snack you didn't even need. Does it compare? Not even close. Miyamoto knew that achievement has no equal. That meaning lives on while pleasure fades fast. So the next time you feel pulled toward distraction, ask yourself, is this moment taking me closer to who I want to be or further away? Lesson 2. Master one thing, and the world opens up. Musashi once wrote, "From one thing, No 10,000. And this wasn't poetry, it was strategy. He chose one path, the sword, and went deeper than anyone before or after him. From sunrise to sunset, he trained, challenged, refined, and pushed himself to the absolute limit. He left home as a teenager to roam feudal Japan, seeking out the most formidable fighters and defeating them all. Not because he was fearless, but because he was committed, obsessed, unstoppable. His style became legend, his technique revered. His understanding of combat was so deep he could express it in 1,000 forms, though it all came from one core pursuit. Today we live in an age of limitless possibilities. At first glance it seems like a blessing. You can be anything, do anything, learn anything. But too often, possibility becomes paralysis. Ever felt overwhelmed by all the things you could be doing, only to do nothing at all? It's like stepping into an enormous buffet. At first you're excited, so many options, but the more you look, the harder it becomes to choose. So you grab a little of this, a little of that, and end up with a plate so mixed you can't even enjoy it. You tried to taste everything and tasted nothing. That's what happens when we chase too many skills, too many dreams, without the discipline to go deep. We bounce from one thing to the next, telling ourselves we're exploring, but really we're avoiding commitment. Because mastery is slow, and in a world addicted to speed, we give up too soon. We forget that Musashi didn't become a legend by dabbling. He became great by choosing one pursuit and letting it shape his soul. The truth is, when you master one path, it teaches you how to master all others. You learn the patterns, the patience, the pain, and the payoff. So instead of spreading yourself thin, focus on depth. Choose the thing that sets your soul on fire and go all in. Because it's not about doing more, it's about doing what matters better than anyone else. When we jump from one skill to another, dabble in this, dabble in that, we trick ourselves into thinking we're making progress. But the truth is, we're just pressing restart over and over again. Without giving ourselves the time to go deep, to understand the soul of what we're pursuing, we're left with nothing more than surface knowledge and surface fulfillment. Miyamoto Musashi didn't operate this way. He filtered out the noise. He resisted the temptation of every passing opportunity. He chose one path and mastered it so fully that it became his identity, his legacy. We should aim to do the same, because there is a kind of beauty that only reveals itself to those who stick with something long enough to see beyond the obvious. Don't be satisfied with the outer shell of a skill. Dive into its depths. Make it your craft. Turn it into your language, and only then, when you've absorbed every lesson it has to teach, should you move to the next challenge, just as Musashi eventually moved to philosophy, calligraphy, and strategy, but only after conquering the sword. Lesson 3. Stay focused always. Musashi once said, "Never stray from the way." And he meant it. He was born into a well-respected family. He could have lived comfortably, surrounded by ease and security. But he chose a different path. He walked away from the predictable and into the unknown. Not for the thrill, but for the discipline it demanded. While others enjoyed the luxuries of status, Musashi kept moving. Even when he was honored, welcomed into the homes of powerful lords, treated with fine food and soft beds, he didn't stay long. He was grateful but not attached, because his focus was not for sale. His life was a testament to relentless clarity, to choosing what is useful, not what is easy. Yes, he appreciated a good meal when it came his way, but he never let comfort own him. That's why Musashi still stands tall in history, not just as a swordsman, but as a symbol of radical self-control. He believed that life gives us two roads. The first one is beautiful, well-lit and crowded. It's lined with pleasures, distractions, and comfort. It looks like the obvious choice. The second, it's foggy, unknown, lonely. You can't see where it leads, and that's why most never take it. But what you don't realize from a distance is that this second road, the one wrapped in uncertainty, leads to freedom. It leads to depth, to purpose, to a life of meaning. It's not easy. It demands sacrifice, discipline, and courage. But those who walk it, they don't just exist, they live. Think of it like this. If you're unhappy with your health and you set a goal to transform your body, every single day becomes a test. Do you give in to the sugar and the screens, or do you show up for yourself? The second path, the harder path, will ask more of you. And yes, it'll scare you, that's okay, that fear. It's a sign you're no longer sleepwalking. It means you're stepping out of the comfort zone where dreams go to die. And that's where true growth begins. It's like crossing a scorching desert. The sun will burn, the thirst will challenge you. The silence might make you question everything. But if you keep walking, if you stay focused, you'll eventually stumble upon something most people never find: the treasure hidden beyond the pain. And when you reach that point, when you've made it through the storms, the sweat, the setbacks, what you'll find on the other side is more than just a result, and it's a feeling, a deep, resonant sense of pride, a smile that isn't just worn on your face, but etched into your spirit, a quiet understanding that no matter where life takes you next, you'll carry this moment forever. Live with integrity, preserve your honor. In one of his most powerful statements, Miyamoto Musashi said, "You may abandon your own body, but you must preserve your honor." Let that settle in for a moment, because at the core of everything Musashi believed stood one unshakable pillar: honor. Musashi's life was deeply shaped by the Bushido, the code of conduct followed by the samurai. It wasn't just a list of rules, it was a way of life, a moral compass carved into the soul of every warrior who wished to live not just bravely, but nobly. The Bushido holds 7 core virtues: integrity, respect, courage, honor, compassion, honesty, and loyalty. But look closely, and you will see something profound. Honor isn't just one of the virtues, it is the thread that holds all of them together. It's the invisible spine behind every courageous act, every honest word, every moment of loyalty. It's self-respect in action. And when you live with self-respect, discipline comes naturally because you refuse to act in ways that diminish who you are. Let's bring this into today's world. Imagine you're working a regular job. Same role for a couple of years, the excitement's worn off. You start coasting, taking shortcuts, clocking in late, cutting corners just to get through the day. Now imagine someone else in your position. Same tasks, same job, but instead of checking out, they check in. They use the extra time to innovate, to add value. They show up early. They do the work with care. Soon they're getting noticed, they're being promoted, and you're left wondering, why not me? The answer: discipline, honor. By choosing shortcuts, you avoided discomfort, but you also avoided growth. Now let's flip the script. You decide to change. To embody the spirit of Musashi, you start showing up on time. You give each task your full attention. You aim not just to finish, but to do it right. And something begins to shift. You start to feel proud again. You're more focused, more energized, more you. And that's the point. Discipline and honor aren't separate. They're two sides of the same coin. To live with discipline is to act with integrity even when no one's watching. To live with honor is to choose the harder right over the easier wrong, especially when no one's clapping. And here's one final truth. You won't get it perfect every time. There will be days where you slip, where temptation wins, where the path of least resistance pulls you back in. But Musashi never said to be perfect. He said to never stray from the way. And part of that is forgiving yourself, then stepping back onto the path with even more awareness. Because punishing yourself for slipping is just another distraction, another excuse to delay doing what truly matters. And so we return to the core of it all. Discipline is not punishment. Discipline is freedom. Honor is not a costume you wear when the world's watching. Honor is how you live when no one else is around. In a world overflowing with temptations, shortcuts, and distractions, the way of Musashi still shines, as a roadmap, as a reminder, as a call to those ready to live deeper, fuller, and more meaningfully. So if this message resonates with you, if something deep inside is stirring after hearing Musashi's words, then take that first step. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, explore our Full Mind in the Void playlist for more timeless wisdom from the greatest minds in history. Thank you for watching, and stay disciplined.